Yeah, you're all set.
Okay, great. So this is the regular meeting for August 25th, 2026 of the Common Council, now in session. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
State of America, and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Sorry, 1 second, is Ronnie on?
Yeah.
Okay,
Council or President Morris,
here,
Councilmember Haddad,
Present.
Carnhagen,
Here.
Roney, Sarwar.
Here.
Foster. Roberts. Here. Felton. Here. Bolo.
Here.
Husband. Here. Morante.
Here.
form presence. Okay. So we have a, motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of July 14th, public hearing, and July 28th, regular meeting, and place them in file. Motion,
Motion.
Ron, second, Gary. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. The committee report and department reports have been received and placed on file. They are on the city website. May I have a motion and second to place committee reports on file? Motion, Ron, second, Gary. Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carry. So this evening, we're going to begin with a presentation from Peter Frank from Friends of Hudson Youth regarding the Oakdale Park, specifically in reference to some CREST grants. This, for those of you who are on the council in the last couple of years, we had discussion of this. There's other funding that was part of a resolution last year, and we do have a resolution this evening to approve acceptance of these CREST grants for Oakdale Park. So it's here to do a presentation and to answer any questions anyone has around the park. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to you, Peter.
Okay. Hello, everyone. As Margaret said, I'm Peter Frank. I'm representing Friends of Hudson Youth, which is acting as a partner with the City of Hudson.
Is there a mic close to Peter? You want to take this one?
Is that better?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So I'm Peter Frank. I'm here representing Friends of Hudson Youth, which is acting as a partner to the City of Hudson in the Oakdale Park improvement projects. I think as everyone understands, playgrounds are critical infrastructure, both for childhood development and for community life. And as any parent will tell you, Hudson is sorely lacking in decent play spaces for kids. At one time, Hudson had playgrounds in every neighborhood, but for decades, the city hasn't invested in them. And as you'll see, the playground in Oakdale is a disgrace. In the 2018 Oakdale Park visioning process, the public named a new playground as a top priority, and the need for play spaces keeps coming up loud and clear every time there's public engagement around green spaces. It came up through the Charles Williams Park community engagement, the comp plan, etc. And for those of you who weren't in my presentation last year, here's a quick review of the project to date. In 2022, the city took a long overdue first step to address this need when the council unanimously approved an application for a state parks grant, which the city was awarded. But progress was initially slow. Hudson has limited capacity to manage grants and capital projects. About a year and a half ago, the city asked FOHI to take a more active role, which was later formalized in an MOU for Oakdale Park improvements. FOHI then partnered with New City Parks, a nonprofit which advises municipalities on park development at no charge. And we began fundraising, including an early grant from the Utopia Foundation, which allowed us to hire local firm Star Whitehouse to lead design. Katie Webster, one of the designers, is with us here tonight to answer any questions about the design. So next slide, please, Logan. That's where things stood, more or less, when I presented here a year ago, and we were still fundraising to close the funding gap. Now, thanks to the generosity of Assemblymember Dee Barrett and Senator Michelle Hinchey, the project is fully funded. Both legislators understand the importance of social infrastructure, and we're happy to help. The timeline I gave last year was optimistic. So here's an updated one. Right now, we're near the end of the design phase. Bid documents will be complete by year end, construction starting next spring, and completion by fall 27. Next, please. This map shows the project area on the north side of the park. Oakdale is Hudson's largest park, other than the cemetery, and it's one used extensively by both summer campers and the wider community. But the north side area is quite underutilized. The next slide, please. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the park itself, the lake, the swimming beach, an urban forest with a half-mile hiking trail. Bohe and other community groups have started to improve the park in recent years, but the facilities are still pretty low. Next, please. This is the existing playground. It's over 30 years old. And importantly, it was built before modern safety standards existed. Today, every public playground uses impact absorbing surfaces, not jagged gravel and broken splintered railroad ties. Next, please. Here's a closer look at the surface. I want to be clear, you simply could not build a public playground like this today. In fact, a school or childcare center could not get a license to operate with a surface like this. Every year when the health department does its pre-camp inspection in Oakdale, they flag this surface as a problem. This isn't just deferred maintenance. This is actually a liability for the city of Hudson. Next, please. Beyond the surface, the equipment itself fails modern standards. There's rough edges around the decking, hard-edged exposed hardware, mold, rust, and no modern accessibility features. Next, please. Finally, with this new project, we're going to have a playground that's safe, that's durable, and that's accessible for all ages and all abilities. Next, please. Here's the project area. And this one, sorry, yes, okay. Here's the project area. The design utilizes organic shapes throughout and natural materials to integrate with the wooded setting, and it links to a trail through the park's wooded setting. It has a loosely defined border, but clear sight lines, so it feels open and safe. It will provide shelter from sun and rain and much improved facilities for summer camp. Next, please. Here's a closer look at the playground concept. The plan gives both younger and older kids a range of age-appropriate challenges in one connected space to foster social interaction. It's an engaging, inclusive environment. There are benches for caregivers, a new pavilion, a seasonal bathroom, and extensive new trees and landscaping. And just to be clear, this project isn't just solving a deferred maintenance issue for city government. We're using high-quality, sustainable materials that will minimize future upkeep. We kept the city's maintenance capacity front of mind throughout the design process. For instance, we looked at including a splash pad since the public requested this, and cooling features are a wonderful amenity as the planet gets hotter. But water features carry ongoing maintenance costs that the city couldn't easily absorb, so we chose more cost-effective alternatives. Next, please. Now a little more detail on the play elements. Nature play and a sense of outdoor adventure guided the process. Wherever possible, we're using materials like black locust, more rot resistant than any treated wood. The major equipment comes from Compan, one of the world's leading playground designers. The Compan Institute has been researching play and childhood development for over 50 years, focusing on risk-based physical challenge, inclusive design, and sustainable materials. Next, please. There'll be a variety of play structures, scrambles, stilts, hammocks, lily pad steppers, all elements that inspire social emotional interaction and imaginative play. Next, please. And beyond the manufactured equipment, we're sculpting natural play features, grassy mounds, a willow tunnel, a story circle, and a sensory garden. Next, please. The sensory garden will have plants to touch and to feel. The garden will be a living learning lab for campers. Next, please. And all the landscaping will feature native pollinator-friendly species. Next. Of course, there will be swings. Next, please. Wait, you guys. So there'll be seat types for all ages and for different abilities, from toddlers to kids who need extra support. And here's the crucial impact absorbing surface. We're using 5R, which unlike mulch, knits together to form an impact absorbing surface, but firm enough for wheelchair access on the playground surface. And we'll be salvaging natural timber wherever possible during construction to create seating and the playground boundaries. Next. This is the new pavilion. This will anchor the reimagined space and will dramatically increase year-round community use. For those who might not know this part of the park, it's a remarkable tranquil spot and it's beautiful all year round. When the trees are bare in winter, you have lake views. So it's really a lovely spot and I think will be used much more often with this new pavilion. And then next. And there'll also be a new bathroom, a huge upgrade. Right now, campers use a porta potty and have no running water. From a health and sanitation perspective, this isn't good. The new structure adds an outdoor sink for hand washing, a water fountain, and a bottle filler. The bathroom was a feature New York State was particularly glad to see and an important factor in winning the initial grant. So I'm just back to the concept design again. This is going to be a safe, thoughtfully designed space for the community to gather and for children to grow, and a long overdue replacement we can all be proud of. And finally, here's the budget. As you'll see, it's not a small budget. We're not cutting corners and we're using high quality materials throughout. The city is contributing just $110,000, less than 9% of the total budget, thanks to generous private funding and public grants. The budget also includes construction management and grant administration, so all the support the city needs is already built in. Thanks for your time and happy to answer any questions.
I did have one question. So in the resolution, we have, the terms and conditions for this, posted and circulated with the members. Who is going to, you have money in here for, your opportunity search for management of the project. So it's the grant has to be, the best grant that we're looking at tonight, that's the ministry. Who is going to administer that?
With a professional grant administration firm, we have, the contract hasn't been finalized. We've interviewed one firm who we like very much, but we need a second proposal. But the fees for grant administration are included in the grant.
So
And all of the
city and the treasurer, no one in the city is going to have to keep track of all of the expenditures, the filings and so forth.
No, it's being handled by professional grant administrators.
Okay, big
Yes.
question.
So they'll assemble all of our bills and then submit it to the authorities for reimbursement.
Yes. Yes, yeah, it's critical for a project like this, so that the reimbursements are timely. They'll also be on board early in the process because when the documents go out for bid, we have to be certain that the contracts all include, any vendor that's awarded it has to acknowledge all of the reporting requirements and commit to all the necessary reporting requirements. So the grant administrator has to vet the bid documents to make sure that all that information is in there properly.
I'm very excited about this project. I want to thank you for the work that you've done on this. Seeing the renderings is very reminiscent of the John L. Edwards playground that lots of people have great memories on. It was safe, it lasted a long time, and it was accessible, so I'm very grateful. And I think this is also a perfect example of how private-public partnerships can work. From the beginning of the process to now, you included community, and I remember going to the workshops at Oakdale, and that felt very inclusive. There were families, and there were elected officials, and there were youth staff and youth workers there. So I just want to commend you. I think this is a great project.
Thank you. Thank you.
Peter, this is really great question. Couple questions. So how many parking spots are going to be put in play?
There's 4 parking spots, 1 handicap spot. We feel it's it's necessary to have parking there, particularly handicap parking. But with the amount of real estate and with its proximity to Oakdale, which has a huge amount of mostly unused parking, we felt like it is a short walk to the main parking lot. So 4 parking lots seems sufficient. I mean, 4 parking places.
But I think though, if the idea is to walk, then maybe another ADA parking, right? Because obviously someone's not gonna walk from the parking lot. So maybe invest in more ADA, you know, two and two, maybe, right? So, and it's actually gonna be paid for paid parking.
They'll be paid, they'll be very much improved over what's there now. Well, yeah, we can look at that because there's a handicap space and then there's the, what do you call it? Maybe the space next to the space that's required. Clearance area.
Yeah.
So we could look into having a second handicap space on the other side of the clearance area.
Right, and what about, cause obviously, you know, there's gonna be a traffic issue and things like that. What about access to, like a crosswalk beacon, crosswalk there at that location? Because there's limited sidewalk. And it's for the walkability, because there's a lot of neighborhood kids that would have these benefit. So what about any thought on investing in a crosswalk beacon, a crosswalk, you know, there? For access to the park.
That's a good point. It's a good point. We'll look at that.
I don't usually have good points, but thank you.
You do?
Hey, Peter, thank you. You did a good job and you always do for that town. My question is gonna be any green energy uses, like, you know, solar panel or something? Or maybe,
You know, the energy use is going to be so minimal. You know, LED lighting in the restroom and a small fan. We have considered solar collectors on the roof of the bathroom,
that's one.
but with the shade there, it wouldn't be great. And, you know, cutting down trees would not be great to have more sun. And the amount of electricity that's honestly going to be used is so very minimal. That the investment in solar energy and having to cut down branches to make it work just didn't seem like a good cost benefit trade-off. We did look into it. We're also looking into the possibility of a green roof for the bathroom, which I think would be nice, something,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, this restroom, have you pictured to be available similar to the one at the waterfront, some of the time of year, amount of daytime, or is there any other reason?
It's going to be seasonal, so it won't be open in the winter.
That's why, similar to what.
It would be, you know, if there's going to be during summer camp or if there's an event there, it would be open. You know, the city doesn't have the capacity to maintain bathrooms 24/7. Unfortunately, I wish we did.
I'm not asking 24/7,
Right.
the one at the waterfront is open every day, but from sunrise to sunset or something, I would hope that this would be similar.
I would hope so too. I think it's going to be that's going to be a budget, you know, issue with maintaining it.
Well, that's why we're,
Yeah, the waterfront, the HPD control that they opened it up in the morning.
and we look as a group into.
I think that also opens up a larger topic, which is that the DPW maintains city parks, including the waterfront and including that bathroom. But even though Oakdale is a city park, the DPW doesn't maintain it. So the only maintenance is from the youth department. So, you know, the youth department doesn't have staffing on weekends and things like that the DPW could do. So it's, you know, that conversation is a larger conversation.
Some parks have lots that are like cellular, so that, you know, that with chip in it, so they're timed, so they're on and off and on a schedule.
Mhm.
You know, some of the bigger parks.
Mhm.
But the idea is you want to make sure it's empty before it gets locked, right? That's what the waterfront, that's why I think HPD does the water. But I think the rule is, right, is it locks when the park closes at dark, right? So, and it opens when it's light. So I mean, that's kind of what the schedule probably demand, right? You know, and so, I mean, there is kind of a schedule already in play because the parks being open.
Mhm.
But I do agree. I think I remember the one that used to be there.
But that doesn't get cleaned and checked, it's not great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I can only be open as much as we can appropriately, as much as we appropriately staffed.
Right.
And I would love that if the city had the capacity to do that. You know, but as I say, that's, that's a personnel question, it's a budget question.
But that comes in, if somebody does want to rent it for an event or something, then the cost can be put into for cleaning.
Exactly, yes, then arrangements could be made.
I just wanted to say, I'm sorry, that, it's well overdue for an upgrade and thank you so much. I love the concept design. Thank you and everyone who's involved in the work.
Thank you.
You're not gonna get rid of some of the hiding spots that I found, right, when I was little?
I can't promise.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
The council members?
I mean, the bathroom, someone mentioned the bathroom question, who's the bathroom lot at Oakville?
The custodian, the main person, he checks the porta potties every day.
I'm sorry, who does?
The
He
make-
checks the port, if he puts the toilet paper in, he cleans them. He takes care of any accidents. So he would, so he does that now with the porta potty there, he would continue to do it during summer camp. But the capacity to do it, on a larger schedule is not something we can speak to. It's just.
Any other comments, questions?
I think
Hang on a second, any other council members? Okay, public in the room?
that we're getting to this reason. So in terms of the project completion and working next year, for the cash flow, will the city be advancing money that will have to go, put the city in debt? I know there's 110,000. We have an idea how that cash flow is gonna work?
Yeah, and in fact, in September, Heather, the treasurer, is going to be submitting 2 additional resolutions. And Heather, are you online?
No, she's not.
Oh, okay. I would rather, we, the city parks and the mayor's office and the treasurer, and myself have met about this, and there is a financing strategy that Heather feels good about. And that it would be a combination of an interfund loan and then bonding next June.
So the deadline.
Yeah,
So the numbers, you have an idea of those numbers?
I can't speak to it exactly, and frankly, I don't, we can ask for it next month, but I'm not sure she can either, because, the budget is a moving target,
Right.
so she would want to borrow as little as possible,
Exactly.
but not, so it's going to depend, at the time, it's going to depend. I think the resolution is going to be up to a maximum amount, but she's hoping not to use the maximum. But she has a much better handle on the financing than I do, so I would rather defer that. What?
Under over $500,000? The ballpark, what would not hold you to anything?
I think it's, I think
We
it's,
should wait on that
Okay.
until, Heather unfortunately was supposed to be here this evening. but
right,
she
I
was
think she would be.
She was unable to attend.
Because I'm not really,
Yeah, I think you should leave that for discussion with Heather, and the resolution that we have this evening is focused on accepting the grants,
right,
which do not have any matching funds associated with them. And the grants process has built into it account managers, which is very, very important. So that's, I think that conversation can occur when Heather is available to get into the detail.
thank you.
Is Ronnie online?
Yes.
Ronnie, just, can you update the roll call? Just for the record, Ronnie, can you, just tell us why you're attending remotely?
Sure, yeah, I had to work a little bit later today. I was not gonna make it.
Okay.
Yeah, work a little later.
Okay, thank you for observation, that's fine. So Ronnie, did you have any questions for Peter, or any comments?
No questions, but thank you, Peter, for all your work. The proposal looks great. Can't wait to see it in person.
I don't see any other questions in the room. Is there any hands raised on that? Okay, so thank you very much.
And I just, before I just did want to acknowledge Katie and Star Bypass. Everybody is thanking me, but they've been an incredible partner and just have contributed an enormous amount to it as well.
So, but I want to make a slight adjustment to the agenda. Before you leave here, we're going to move our resolutions. The third resolution is authorizing the city to accept the best grants. So, can we pull that one up? that makes the refuge close up. So can we have a motion in a second to vote on, the resolution of such intent? Motion from one, second from Spare. So this is the roll call.
President Morris,
Yes.
council members Haddad,
Aye.
Fernhagen,
Aye.
Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Roberts. Aye. Belton. Aye. Volo,
Aye.
Cousins. Aye. Morante.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Katie.
So
Thank
now,
you, Katie.
Thanks.
now we're going to go back to our regular agenda. So our first resolution, is appointing Commissioner of Deeds for the City of Hudson, Sarah Cook, Sarah Cook, Norma, McDonald, Barbara Perez. So can I have a motion and a second for appointing Commissioner of Deeds? Any motion, one second.
President Morris,
Yes.
councilmember Haddad,
Aye.
Fernhagen,
Aye.
Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Roberts. Aye. Belton. Aye. Volo. Cousins. Aye. Morante.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. Our next resolution is a resolution congratulating the Hudson Fire Department's Columbia County Firemen's Convention success. As you they won first place for Fire Guard, Drumline, second place for best appearing at Bravos, best appearing at 19 or more, appearing in line, and 34 members marching. So this resolution is just congratulating them on that success. So may I have a motion and a second? Handling motion and Long second. And roll call.
President Morris,
Yes.
councilmember Haddad,
Aye.
Fernhagen,
Aye.
Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Roberts. Aye. Belton. Aye. Volo,
Aye.
Cousins. Aye. Morante.
Aye.
Motion carried. Our next resolution is authorizing the settlement of Article 7, proceeding with Stephen Family. We were briefed on this last month. So if I may have a motion and a second to approve the settlement. Long's motion, Jason second. Roll call.
President Morris,
Yes.
councilmember Haddad,
Aye.
Fernhagen,
Aye.
Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Roberts. Aye. Belton. Aye. Volo,
Aye.
Cousins. Aye. Morante.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Our next resolution is authorizing 2026 budget transfer and acceptance of increased CDBG housing rehab funds. We got this from Michelle, some additional 40,000 that can be used to rehab some additional home. Can I have a motion in a second? To which motion from Jason, second from Henry? And roll call.
President Morris,
Yes.
councilmember Haddad,
Aye.
Fernhagen,
Aye.
Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Roberts. Aye. Belton. Aye. Volo,
Aye.
Cousins. Aye. Morante.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Our next resolution is also a settlement with Ellen Liger. Again, we were briefed on last month. May I have a motion and a second to approve the settlement? Jason, motion, and second is fair.
President Morris,
Yes.
councilmember Haddad,
Aye.
Fernhagen,
Aye.
Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Roberts. Aye. Belton. Aye. Volo,
Aye.
Cousins. Aye. Morante.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We have a couple of new, resolutions. The first one is a, budget transfer, received this from, Rob Perry. This relates to, I believe it's for stop signs. It is a safety, issue. So this is moving money from branch other expense into materials and supplies. So can I have a motion? Motion from Jason, second from Henry, and a roll call vote to approve.
President Morris.
Yes.
Councilmember Haddad.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Rooney.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Foster. Roberts. Aye. Felton. Aye. Fuller.
Aye.
Cousin. Aye. Morante.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. Our next is a resolution. This is in relation to establishing the Charter Revision Commission, which we've been discussing some time. We reviewed a version of the law last month. I made revisions based on feedback. You've all seen the new version. This is a resolution enacting the local law. So if I may have a motion and a second.
I have a comment before we put the motion to. As I stated previously, I do support charter review. I'm still a little concerned about the appointment structure as it's written. I'm concerned that this draft places too much appointment power in the hands of the common council president. For a process this important, appointments should be a collective decision of the council, not concentrated to one person. So an amendment that I have been thinking about, would read, the 7 community members shall be appointed by the common council with at least 1 representative designated by each ward. No single officer of the common council shall have sole appointment authority over community members. I'd also like to clarify what in consultation with the council actually means. Does the council have a meaningful role in approving or selecting these appointments, or is the final authority solely with the common council president? I would support language that makes that role explicit rather than leaving it to open interpretation.
Any other comments?
When will the, appreciating what Claire said, when will the list be released?
Well, once, in the event that the council votes to enact this, I'm going to do, as you all know, I have met with each one of you and reviewed the membership of this charter commission. And following this, I am going to move to executive session to have that discussion with the council. So that would be part of the process, would be to move to executive session, which is customary. Any other comments or questions?
Well, when will the public know?
We will be in executive session this evening, and I would, assuming the process this evening, and we go into executive session, I would post a listing of the commission members tomorrow. Just a moment.
Can we vote on Claire's amendment, because I happen to like it?
We reviewed this in last month. If you want to make a motion to vote on an amendment, you may, but I do not want to go back and revisit this law. We've put a lot of work into this already, and I have consulted with every one of you, and I'm planning to have a consultation in executive session with the council as a group.
Sometimes amendments happen as we're.
I understand that. But the other thing that I want to be very, very clear is when I first announced that I wanted the council to have a charter commission, I did not solicit people to, just a moment, the language for the comment suggests that I personally selected who should be on this commission.
Did my comment suggest that?
Yes, it did. That is not how this came about. How this came about is that members of the community stepped forward and volunteered to work on this, met and discussed, talked about what was involved in the work and so forth. And that's how this list of people came about.
My comment actually just asks for clarifying language about who has the authority. And I feel like we can make it more explicit
The
together.
authority is appointed by the president.
I understand
In
that.
consultation with.
That's why I proposed the amendment that I proposed, because I think we can be more explicit.
So I'm personally not in favor of amending this. If any member of the council wishes to put forward a motion to vote on an amendment, you may do so. But I am not in favor.
I would make a motion to amend some of the language.
Excuse me?
We don't have an open motion right now.
No, we don't. That's why.
No, I said, no, because the comment came before the motion.
So I have a motion on the table now to amend some of the language.
Jen, you want a second?
I say I'm sectioning. Yeah.
Okay, so can we have a roll call vote?
Could I hear it again?
Beg your pardon?
But I would like to know.
Well, if
Clarify.
we're going to need to circulate the language. And if we're going to amend it, then I'm going to table this for this evening, and we will not vote on it, and we will receive written suggestions of amendments, and that's how this will work. But I'm not going to, too much time and effort went into crafting this, that I'm not going to make amendments on the fly, that we haven't had time to review.
I think we have to have a sticker review, yeah.
So do you want to do a roll call vote? And this is on whether or not the language in this law needs to go back and be amended.
Do we need to introduce it first before we can do whatever it is that we're looking at?
Yeah, we have to introduce the,
Well, this law was laid on your desk last week. It has already, you don't need to, this language this is leftover language. It's not, this is actually a motion to vote on enacting the law. So what we have now is a motion on the table to revise the language that is in this law. And so, that motion has been seconded by Jenny. And so now we are going to have a vote to say whether or not the language in the law needs to be revised.
Or you can just
Yes, and that-
change your amendment to, or your motion to amend and table.
Okay, so just a moment, because, Rich has just brought up potentially a separate motion, if you want to withdraw your motion, which is that we table this. And that you then submit whatever revised language you want to.
How do you feel about that?
Personally, I would like to enact this and I'd like to move forward with us reviewing the charter and start doing the work.
I feel like you would get supportive votes if people could just have clarifying language added to the local law. Me and you had a phone conference for public clarity. I got a call, wasn't able to take the call. We're supposed to have a follow-up call, so I didn't get the information that other council members may have gotten. So I spent some time with this, read it a couple of different times, and the final time that I read it, this is based on constituent feedback and where, some flags were raised for me. I'm not against a charter review commission. I think that we can just further clarify where the power lies and, how we're coming up with this, who gets put onto, the commission. And I want to be clear as to what the council's role is.
So, for the record, I did actually make more than one attempt to reach you, so that's fine, and but that's.
That's neither here.
Do we want
That's not what I was saying.
The thing is that I don't know exactly the amendments, what I will be voting on, or amendments.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
And you can get, we can see what's.
Sure, then I withdraw my motion and I make a motion to table.
Do we have a second? Laura, I think, Jonathan seconded it.
And those seven.
Yeah, both of you. I think Rich seconds the motion to table. So can we have a roll call vote?
President Morris,
No.
Councilmember Haddad,
No.
Councilmember Kernhagen,
Aye.
Councilmember Rowley,
You're muted.
Rowley,
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye, for more.
Sorry.
Aye.
Table. Foster,
No.
Robert. Aye. Belton. Aye. Volo.
Aye.
Housen,
Aye.
Morante,
No.
So it doesn't, the motion carries, we are taking. Okay. Our next. Okay, next one is updating fee schedules. So the brief word on this, borrow yours. So on the fee schedule, we reviewed this multiple times. Couple of changes. The only change in fee schedule to DPW related to a hauler fee, which is currently at $1,000. And last year when we were reviewing this, we mistakenly were looking at that as a fee associated with having a dumpster at the property. But actually, the clarification with DPW is the fee that the hauling companies, the various private garbage companies, pay the city per year to come into Hudson. It's currently $1,000 a year, that's why it's an annual fee. And Rob Perry suggested that it should remain the same. So since that was the only DPW fee change, that remains the same. Most of the changes, most of the fee schedule, as we've seen before, are in code enforcement, and in reviewing this, it's probably the one that I just want to draw to your attention that's different relates to the building permits. We had proposed increasing those rates, and then, on reflection, Nick wanted to simplify this. So that currently the minimum is $52.50 for up to $1,000 job, and then in increments of up to 50,000 up to 100,000 and so forth. It's $10.50 per thousand, $7.87 per thousand, $5.25. It's very kind of complex to go through all of that matter. And so his suggestion comes out, depending on the size of the job, it's not that different in terms of the Old City. Most of the jobs are going to be in the lower ranges. Just make it $60 minimum for up to $1,000 job. And then $10 per $1,000 for larger projects. So that was the main thing that was changed there. The other thing was to remove the renewal fee for the plumbers, and he is looking at establishing a definition of the resident plumber as basically any plumber in Columbia County. So there would not be that many people subject to the $300 fee or not being resident. So those are really the only ones I wanted to flag for you. Anyone got any further questions on the fee schedule? Okay, so Ken, sorry. Oh, yes, sorry. Ken, we have a motion and a second to vote on the fee schedule. Motion from Henry, second from Rich, and roll call.
President Morris,
Yes.
Councilmember Haddad,
Aye.
Kernhagen,
Aye.
Sarwar, Foster, Roberts, Felton,
Aye.
Volo, Cousin, Morante.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. So our next one is also, I'm gonna defer this one over to Gary in a second. Last night, the Public Works Board met and reviewed bids from various contractors for sidewalk improvement projects and selected a contractor. The reason I brought this forward tonight, I prefer not to bring things at the last minute, but the feeling is time sensitive, given that sidewalk work is seasonal. Gary, can answer any questions that you have. The resolution itself, it details very clearly exactly what the bids were, what decision making was, and what particular sidewalk activity is proposed to be. So Gary, do you want to field any questions? Yeah, Jason, that's good.
Just a quick, just to understand, a lot of ramps included in these, or does it just stretches of session?
No, this time around, it's now parcels of sidewalk. We've pretty much satisfied the guidance from the DOJ, which really focused on the ramps, particularly at the within the arteries to and from municipal buildings. So we're continuing that focus. And so we initially identified 8 sidewalk parcels, but because of budget issues primarily, and there's also a technical issue that we want some time on, we reduced it down to 6. So this is well within our budget. It allows us also to pay back $50,000 for the general loan that we initially received, and also leave enough money for incidentals, project management, and the one-off project that we may want to jump on.
Are they mostly completely jackhammer demoed and replaced?
Yeah.
The Columbia Street one, you know,
I'm sorry,
the Columbia Street,
yeah.
that one, you know, it's gonna be work on Columbia Street, so what do you think?
We work very closely with Rob Perry and DPW. So if we're doing work on Columbia, it's because we know that it's okay with them. We put off a lot of work on Columbia because of the upcoming DPW work.
Yeah.
It's not Columbia.
Okay. Okay.
It's all between, it's all on Fifth and Sixth Street, all this work. Most of it north of Warren.
Any other questions? Any questions from anyone?
In the room.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I was just wondering, are you allowing comments or questions on any of the new
I'm
resolutions?
sorry, can you speak up?
Are you allowing questions or comments on any of the new resolutions or just on this?
Well, right now, we're discussing the sidewalk resolution.
Yeah, you didn't allow comment in the last one, so.
Well, we tabled the last one, we didn't actually bring that motion, you're talking about the charter?
Yeah,
So we didn't bring it forward, but we can come back to that, we didn't bring it forward, we decided to table it. So it will be coming up again in the future council meeting. So since it was tabled, there's not really much to discuss.
if there's a time at the end, I'd be happy to.
I'm sorry, I really cannot hear you.
If there's time.
at the end, I would like to make a comment
Okay,
for your consideration.
yes, by all means. Sorry,
You do have one online, I don't know if it's from a previous resolution or not, but from Ronald.
Ronald, is this about the sidewalks?
Actually, I also wanted to make a comment about the general process of charter revision.
We can come back to that. Right now, I would like to consider the resolution that is currently before us, which relates to the contract work for the sidewalk improvement district project.
Right, that's fine. I just wanted to have my hand raised.
Okay, okay, that's fine. So we already have a motion, right? Okay, we have a motion with the sidewalks. One and a second.
Good.
Jason. Can you have
Just a silly little moment, that's all.
We have a roll call on the sidewalk.
President Morris,
Yes.
Councilmember Haddad,
All right.
Carhagen,
Aye.
Ronnie.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Roberts. Aye. Felton. Aye. Volo.
Aye.
Present. Aye. Morante.
Gary, again, good work on this process. Aye.
Motion carried.
So now I'm going to go back and invite members of the public to comment on the charter revision. You in the room, you want to comment?
Yeah.
And if I'll try and turn this off, if you could speak up, that would be very helpful.
Yes, so I'll do my best. I appreciate all the work that's.
Sorry, can you?
You could come here, yeah.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Kaya Weidman. I'm a resident of the Fifth Ward. Claire, I've expressed concerns to my representative in the Fifth Ward, and I hope to speak with you as well, Dominic. In reviewing this, I appreciate the effort that's gone into creating the conditions for a charter reform commission. And I have concerns about having the council president role be the sole decider of who is on that commission. If you look at neighboring cities and towns that have done something similar, like Kingston, they actually did a sort of randomized selection process that was a fair and neutral way to select the people on the commission. There's many examples of how this was done. There's very few examples where they assigned all of the authority to one singular individual in the city. And this is nothing against Council President Morris, but this is about setting a precedent for putting all of the power into one role. And this is a historic generational change you're looking at. We haven't been able to change the charter in a very long time. And so there's a lot of work that's gone into it, but there's a lot of consideration and care and thoughtfulness that needs to go into who is on this commission and how they are selected and how they are truly representative of our community. And I think it was the right thing to table it and put that amending language in that Claire proposed, and encourage you to think about true and fair representation? And why would you give up your votes as council members who represent your constituents and hand that all over to one role? And it's not about individual people, it's about the structure of setting precedents for how power works in the city. So I urge you to make that amendment and comb through it carefully. When I read it, I was very concerned and expressed my concern to my representative, and I would like to express that to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the room? Yes, go ahead.
So it's very interesting. So this is an opportunity. And I think as part of this, I think it would be helpful for the council to decide what kind of a city we want to be. We want to be a city that encourages one another to be good neighbors and help each other. And is there some way that, we can include that kind of language into, the charter itself? To bring that tone about? Or do we want to just, as a contrast about just, the neighborly, philosophic, do we want to be the friendly city? Or do we want to pretend the landowners, the property owners, we want to stringently, enforce zoning and not allow. So just within the range of the gamut of different, ways the city can actually operate. In the charter, you might want to give some thought, the charter committee might want to give some thought to, really what kind of city you want to engender. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I think Ronald had a comment for.
Yeah, Ronald, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Before this procedure moves forward, I think it would be useful to have a sense from both the council members and also members of the public of how sweeping a change to the charter they think the city might need. I mean, this runs a gamut from correcting, say, obvious errors and anachronisms of the charter to something as far-reaching as last year's proposal to bring on a city manager form of government and reduce the number of council members. And some of the changes which might be felt to be necessary may not even require a full-scale, full-blown charter revision commission. So before the procedure moves forward and before a local law is passed, I think, again, it would be useful to get a sense of what council members think, how they feel about this, and also had to have a public hearing to give a sense, or at least testimony at a council meeting, to get a sense of what the public feels. Matt McGee would also like to say something.
Thank you. Yes, this is Matt McGee.
Sorry, Matt, can you get a little closer to the phone?
Yes, I'm hoping that the council will vet people who are chosen, and I think that is what's going to happen. And I hope that the public will be able to speak on the vetting as well. And I think that is really, we have a Republican form of government, and we do want our representatives representing us. And I think that also the public has to be involved, but I don't think it should be a lottery or anything like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other hands raised?
No.
Okay, any other comments from the room on this topic? Okay. Sorry? I don't think so.
I mean, one of the things, for instance, that I would like to see the Fire Reform Commission do is, one of the issues that we had last year in the budget process was that the council was given the budget, but we weren't able to actually amend that budget. We were given like a yay or nay, and then that was it. But even then, it was even debatable whether or not we even had any sort of, we don't have line item, but even if we have yay or nay, then what? Does it go back to the BEA process? Does it come back to us? All of that is unclear within the charter process. So, that's something that has to be worked out. That's one thing that I would like to see. And I think that people have to realize there's a lot of administrative, legal stuff that's in this charter reform that really has to be worked through. It's, that's just one thing that I would like to see addressed.
And I'm certainly one of my priorities.
Yeah,
Any other council members want to comment before we move on to, I don't have any old business. Do we have any new business?
I think there is some old business.
Oh, sorry.
Well, we had asked, is Ken Dow?
He's not with us this evening.
We, at our informal, we had asked for some things to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
We asked for some advice.
Street answers and, a reflection and advice on Mill Street issue.
Yes, he is unable to join us this evening. And so we can do an attorney client session with us. I have also reached out to the attorney who is representing us in this lawsuit. And, I'm trying to get him to agree to counsel about this, he also was unable to do that.
We're likely to not do anything further with this until we're informed meeting.
I think we need to wait until we get back. And I have, the attorney who is representing us in the case. I would like to get guidance from him as well, because, Ken is not involved in the lawsuit. Whereas, Mr. Ryan's company is actually representing us, so as this client, I think the council should hear from him. On the current status, and I also sent reservations to Mr. Ryan for him to review. But he unfortunately didn't have any.
Could we ask for a special meeting prior to next informal, just in case we can work something up to
That would be great.
I think that's fine.
maybe 2 weeks from today?
I gave him the dates of our next meetings.
Got it.
And he had something else this evening. So I can connect with him again tomorrow and see if there's some date that he could do just a remote conference call with us.
Or even maybe before one of the.
Before,
After, yeah, one of the
that would
committee
work.
meetings,
That
for
would
the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah. And you have anything else on that? Yeah, sorry, thank you for reminding me. I did follow up. I just wanted to get my you're done.
I have a comment.
Sorry,
I have a comment.
yeah, on this topic?
No.
Okay, let's finish up this topic first. Lloyd, you have your
well, I
hand
was gonna just.
Is it in relation to this topic?
I was just gonna mention Heather's online, but we want to get something about the.
No,
Yeah,
Frank is not, Peter is not here anymore, so let's
but
leave
Heather,
that for now. Okay, if we're done with this topic, is there any other old business that I've missed? Okay, new business? Claire, you have new business?
Just a comment. I wanted to acknowledge all the young people in the room. I feel like, this is probably the most that we've seen in a while. I enjoyed participating in Youth Government Day, but I'm curious to see if there could be a follow-up event where we get to hear some of the questions that the young people might have after some of these meetings. I'd love to answer some, and maybe more council members could participate in that conversation this go around.
I would
Yeah.
love to,
That'd be great.
yeah.
Okay, any other new business? Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion from Jenny, second from Luan, and anybody who has, either motion or second, please say on to sign. Thank you all very much.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.